What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Overboy, and I'm going to be joined by Kenny Havoc and Big D from Big D's Entertainment's Rankings and Reviews, and we're going to be doing our ranking for the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. So over the last few months I've reviewed all of these movies, and from 2 through 5, Kenny Havoc joined me on all of those reviews, and we got Big D to join us on the reviews for 3 and 5, so I thought I'd get them to join me for the ranking as well and everything. So we're gonna take turns and everything. I'll let them go first and then I'll do mine, and we'll go back and forth until we get to our number 1. So first off, I'll let it'll be Kenny Havoc and then Big D. So take it away, guys.
Okay, it's time to rank them. And you know what? On Stranger Tides.
Hey everyone, this is the Big D of Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews, and I'm proud to be a part of this here ranking of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise with your boy 1992. And, well, this is kind of an easy choice for me, so since I've seen all of them, I'm going to go ahead and take part of this here ranking. Hope it's the best that you can enjoy. So coming in at number 5 for me is Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides from 2011. Now, I did go see this one in the theater, but I never did get to revisit this. It's reasonable and all, while it's not quite as good as the first 3 and what have you, and they had a different director. Johnny Depp still did pretty well as Jack Sparrow, and Penelope Cruz as Angelica, not too bad. I do appreciate them having a good plot with them going in search of the Fountain of Youth, however. And as for Ian McShane's portrayal of the most infamous pirate of, well, all time, Blackbeard, I'd say that was probably the one thing that saves this movie and what have you. I will say that while this did make a lot of money, but this could have just, well, could use a little spin and polish, but it was still okay and what have you. It's kind of my least favorite, and didn't have much to do with after the events of the other ones.
My number 5 is Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. This is the only movie in the franchise that I just don't like. It's just not very good. It's boring. That most of the new characters are very forgettable and stuff. I thought Blackbeard was a pretty lame villain, and I just really did not like this movie. The only thing about it that was halfway decent was Johnny Depp and Jeffrey Rush were still pretty good in the movie, but aside from them, I really didn't like this movie, and it felt like a pointless cash grab and everything, although it was a pretty good looking one. I mean, the cinematography and sets and stuff were all still really good, and the CGI was even still really good, but the movie just was not very well written, and Rob Marshall is a good director, but this is not his type of movie. He didn't really belong in working on a Pirates movie, and also kind of gives me concerns about the upcoming Little Mermaid remake that he's directing. It's like, I'm not sure he's a good choice for it, but he is better with musicals, so maybe he'll do good with that. But all in all, I think Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides is easily the worst in the franchise, and it's the only one that I completely dislike. Every time I watch it, it's a chore to get through and everything. So, but yeah, so that's my number 5.
Number 4, Dead Men Tell No Tales. So if you couldn't tell, the literal representation of it's a coin flip for me. Which one's worse? Could have gone either way. These are both just bad, but they're not comparably bad. One is objectively worse, one is subjectively worse. One has much worse production, one has much worse story. They are so far apart from being compared, but they're both so bad.
Now, coming in at number 4 for me is Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales from 2017, which I recently watched on Disney Plus not so long ago. Well, I say it's kind of more from my review. I'm saying this is more okay good than good in ways. So anyway, well, I appreciate being a continuation to the events at World's End. I'm still gonna say this still could have just not exist too much, but the story could have used a little more spin and polish though. But hey, you don't have to take my word for it. Now, while I thought Johnny Depp was hysterical in some parts as Jack Sparrow, but well, I think I mentioned not all the time. Jeffrey Rush is back, but well, it's not quite as good as before, but I will give him credit. Brandon Thwaites, who plays the son of Will Turner and Elizabeth Swann, not quite as annoying as Will was in the first three movies, but still reasonable. And Salazar was kind of a scary villain, probably maybe not the best of them all. And Karina Smith, I think she was a pretty good addition to the group and what have you. I'm just gonna say she wasn't too bad. Also, I kind of feel sorry for the score for this. It was done by Jeff Zanelli. I gotta agree with what I heard in Ogre Boy's review. It wasn't quite as good as what we heard in the rest, though. But overall, Dead Men Tell No Tales. It's reasonable and all that jazz.
My number 4 is Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. This is, at least as of right now, the last one in the franchise. Hopefully it stays the last one. When it first came out, I absolutely loved it and really enjoyed it. And then, upon rewatching stuff, I just don't enjoy it near as much. I think it's because I've watched all the other ones recently, too, and everything, so it is a big step up from On Stranger Tides, but it's still not as good as the others. I do like that it did kind of have more of a connection to the first 3 movies and stuff, and added more lore to those movies, but there were still a lot of characters from those first 3 movies that weren't in here that were really missed, and Barbossa's character and stuff, his arc was rushed at the end of the movie, and they could have done so much better with this movie. Giving Barbossa a daughter and stuff was cool and everything, but they rushed everything with his little subplot and everything, and the third act was just so rushed. It didn't feel satisfying. Salazar was an okay villain, but he was a pretty bad rehash of Davy Jones. He was like a wannabe Davy Jones and everything, but I think Javier Bardem was okay as a character. The CGI was really bad in this one, and I just don't care for this one as much. So Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man Tell No Tales is number 4.
Dead Man's Chest. As I mentioned, this is just Infinity War done 12 years before Infinity War and done much better than Infinity War. And the villains win, but not Davy winning. And that was good, because it helped pursue that end goal of making him the sympathetic villain, which they did. A very fun movie, would recommend.
Now, coming in at number 3 for me on this ranking is Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest from 2006. Now, this was pretty good when I first saw it, but after that I lost interest in it. But then when I gave it a second chance, it was still the way it was. It was still fun, and I liked it a little more. I really did enjoy having everybody back on board. Johnny Depp, Orlando Bloom, Keira Knightley. Yeah, plus Bill Nighy as Davy Jones. and Tom Hollander as Lord Cutler Beckett. Really good. Now, I really do think this has some fun humor and what have you, and of course great performances from Depp and Nighy. But I really would wish the runtime would have been cut down just a little bit and what have you. But Hans Zimmer's score proved to be good. The direction by Gore Verbinski was good. The effect and action sequences were good too. I really think that was what really saved this movie from being an even bigger disaster, considering it made $1 billion worldwide.
My number 3 is Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. All 3 of these movies I think are pretty good, and they all fit together really well. They should have just ended it with this one, because it was a perfect trilogy and everything. And the only thing that the big thing I didn't like about this movie is it does have a little bit of pacing issues. The movie could have been trimmed down at least maybe 15-20 minutes. But it's really entertaining, awesome sets and stuff, and great CGI, and really awesome third act and everything, epic feel to it, and it felt like a good finale and everything. And this is where it should have ended. You couldn't really go much more over the top with this franchise, and luckily the other 2 did try to keep it on a smaller scale and everything, because it would have been impossible to top this, if they tried, it would have been probably really ridiculous. But I really just think this one is a lot of fun. I like it a lot more than I did when I saw it in the theater and everything. When it first came out, I was a little disappointed, but it's really grown on me and stuff over the years, and it's really entertaining and everything. And just because it's number 3 doesn't mean I think it's bad. I think it's a really good entry, and all 3 of these movies are almost equal to me and everything. I love At World's End, so it's number 3.
Curse the Black Pearl. This was the only one that I wasn't on to help review, and it's very depressing. I cry every night about it. But this one's, it's not as big or as impactful or as incredibly world-building as the others, but story-wise, it's the neatest, it's the cleanest, it's probably the funniest one, and overall, it's just fun pirate adventure, and that's really what the movie should be, and this was a good start for it. Barbossa was very good at being the cartoon villain, because that's what he was. He was just a cartoon pirate villain, to balance off Jack being a cartoon pirate hero, and that was perfect. Will Turner's very boring, but that's okay, because you need boring characters to balance out the interesting characters, to make them more interesting. It's like they did a whole Simpsons thing on it. Remember that? Do the meme, Mr. Editor, which is me. Wow.
Now, coming in at number 2 on the ranking is Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End from 2007. Now, after I gave this another chance, which after I saw this long ago, I watched it again on Disney Plus, and well, it's redeemed itself. But however, I do agree with what Ogre Boy said in the review that I did a collab with him and King Havoc on about Orlando Bloom's performance as Will Turner. Yeah, it wasn't really that good, unfortunately. Though Keira Knightley was still good as Elizabeth Swann, and Johnny Depp, of course, good as Captain Jack Sparrow. Now, I was glad they brought back the character of Hector Barbossa back from Curse of the Black Pearl. And, of course, Davy Jones, once again played by Bill Nighy. I will say that, just like the first film, it was pretty good in ways. But just like I said, the reviews were mixed. The performances were good, but like I said, Orlando Bloom was kind of a little off. The direction by Gore Verbinski was good. Hans Zimmer's score was good. Action scene, humor, and special effects, they were all good. But I will say the plot was kind of a little, well, 50-50, and its runtime should have been a little more trimmed and what have you. But still, it still proved to be good. but didn't quite come close to making $1 billion worldwide like its predecessor. Even so, I did enjoy the performances, and Chow Yun-fat in this as Sao Feng was pretty good too. Now, my favorite part about this movie was the big epic battle and what have you between all those pirates. That was definitely a very good moment from this movie. And that, I say, is totally one of those great things that saves this movie, despite its long runtime, that is.
My number 2 is Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl, the first movie in the franchise. I really debated on which one was going to be number 1 and everything, but I went ahead and had to put this at number 2. It's a lot of fun. It's a great introduction to this world and characters and everything. I remember when this movie came out, I went to see it in the theater with a family friend, and it was like, I don't really know what to expect on this movie because I mean, I was interested in seeing it, but I didn't know that I'd want to see it in a theater, and everything. I was like, what if this movie sucks and it's really boring and everything? But I ended up having a blast with it, and it instantly became one of my favorite movies of that year, and of that time in my childhood. I just absolutely love this movie, and every time I watch it, I still absolutely love it. It's a lot of fun. All of the cast are really great. Johnny Depp has become one of my favorite actors ever since this movie came out. This was pretty much my introduction to Johnny Depp, and I just absolutely love this movie, and it's easily one of the best movies in the franchise and everything. And I can get why most people would say it is their favorite and everything, but it's not my favorite. There's one more that I like more than it.
Number 1, well, you kind of already know because I said it during the review, but yeah, it's At World's End. Yeah, okay. Anyway, so this is Pete Davey, best villain in the whole franchise, best character in the whole franchise comes from this movie. Honestly, this is the best Will Turner's been, not the best Jack's been, but, you know, he was still good here. Barbosa is still good here, not the best he's been, but still good. The best Elizabeth Swan's been, because she's actually got, like, much more of a character now. Norrington was had a good redemption arc here. And of course the ship battle. That's what everyone remembers. My favorite scene in the whole movie is still Davy choosing to use his one time that he could stand on land. Not to pillage, not to attack, not to kill, not to do anything that most villains would do. He chose it to just simply see Tia Dalma, see Calypso, and tell her that no matter what, still has his heart. Thanks for letting me do these reviews. This was fun. Let's find a new franchise for us to do, or singular movie. We gotta find something.
Now, coming in at number 1 for me is, of course, the one that started all, Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl from 2003. Yes, the first ever PG-13 rated Disney flick tops this here franchise's ranking. This was just a fun movie. I still have a lot of nostalgia for watching this. It had a great cast. Johnny Depp, absolutely really good as Captain Jack Sparrow. Yeah, Orlando Bloom as Will Turner and Keira Knightley as Elizabeth Swann. They were pretty good, despite Will was a little, Now, I will say I liked the crew of the Black Pearl, including their captain Hector Barbosa, and how they become undead skeletons in Moonlight. That was really something. it was just so, wow, dark and, ooh, yeah. But even so, I loved this movie for its action, its adventure, its humor, etc., etc., etc. I gotta say, I don't know what else to say about it. Still, I gotta give credit to this movie. This movie is just a blast. So, Curse of the Black Pearl is my top favorite film of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. Anyway, thank you for making me a part of this, Ogre Boy 1992. You're good, buddy. Until then, this is the Big D saying, see ya.
And my number one favorite movie in the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise is Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest, the second movie in the franchise. It took everything that made the first movie great and expanded upon it, and is a really, really great sequel. I just absolutely love like the action and stuff in here, like the big three-way fight scene between Beckett, Will, and Jack is just a lot of fun. Every time I watch it, I just have a blast within the scene when they're in the ball cages and they're swinging and stuff. Just a lot of fun. And when he's getting chased by the people, the cannibals and stuff, just absolutely hilarious. And Johnny Depp is probably my favorite performance of his as Jack Sparrow. This one and the first and third are really all three great, but I think this is probably my favorite one out of his performances as Jack. He goes for it in this movie. He was getting to know what he wanted to do in the first one, and this one he just goes all out, and it's a ton of fun and everything. It really well paced. The movie's 2.5 hours. It flies by really quick every time I see it. I love the introduction to Davy Jones, and even though he doesn't do a lot in this movie, it was still a good introduction to him and everything. We learned more about him in the third one, but it was still a good introduction. He's really intimidating villain. Bill Nye was excellent as him, and I just absolutely love this movie. So Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest is easily my number one. But thank you to Big D and Kenny Havoc for joining me in this video, and for joining me on all the other ones and everything. It was a lot of fun, and having y'all in these videos and stuff. Maybe we can find another franchise to do sometime if you want. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.